podcast and take this walk with me.
Welcome back to the Three Parallels podcast with your host, the Brother Dr. Jason Branch, a show where we rediscover who we were, embrace who we are, and make room for who we're trying to become. Who is that? Him, her, or them. All caps, no blue hat. I'm an executive performance coach, and my job is to help high-achieving, helping professionals overcome perfectionism and overthinking. If that's you, I know it is. You came to the right place at the right time. So just keep listening, and you're going to find your tribe, your crew, your community, your culture, your collective at the Gator University. Gator U, baby, established in December 4th, 2025. We have open enrollment now. If you're interested, get in, bring a friend. It's a great way to connect, to build. Whether you're a helping professional or you on the journey of becoming one, whoever you are, wherever you are, it applies to all. And right now, I'm focusing on us, the helping professionals who need the most help, because we're doing everything in our power to help other people. With all that said, I'm coming to you live from Battlecast Studios. Where's Battlecast Studios? I'm glad you asked. Coming to you live from the basement of Gator University. There's a studio down here. It's nice, state of the art. Everything is purple and nice. It's a lot of these aromatics going on. It feels good. It looks good. Anything you want, you can get it at Gator U, because there are no limits, just legends. Ooh, there are no limits, just legacy. Listen, it don't stop. You want something, come get some. Now is the time, because this season has been celebration of graduation. A lot of my students, friends, family, a lot of people are graduating, and it's a great time for celebration. And it's the end of Mental Health Awareness Month, so you know I got to close out with a bang. And I've decided that every year I'm gonna play this game, Sandbox. We talked about it last episode of certain months where we highlight people, places, and things. I'm going to play the game with some of the things that I enjoy or want to highlight. Outside of that, I'm gonna do what everybody else do. A day on is not a day off. Anyway, I got a lot to talk about today, and this episode is specifically for helping professionals. Okay. So if you're a client, if you're looking at, I'm listening to the show, get more. It's for you too. It's for everybody, but specifically it's for those in the profession, because it's a continuation from our part 2 of the Q&A session. But now we're not doing Q&A. I'm kind of sharing things that I've never shared before that you need to know. You meaning anyone that's in the helping profession, so you can get a different perspective. The things I'm going to talk about today is to offer you a different perspective. If you're a prospective client, if you're just a person just curious, this gives you inside scoop about a profession that many of us don't know nothing about, because we don't know nobody in it, and we ain't never been to therapy. There's that. So I want to talk about the love and dislike that I have for this profession. The old me, it was a love-hate relationship. And the reason it was love-hate, because I love the things that I do, but I hate the way things are done. Hated, that's past tense. Who I am currently, I don't hate nothing or nobody, so therefore I can't hate, but I can dislike. And what I dislike is the inconsistencies, the incongruence, and I'm going to talk about it today. And you can do whatever you want to do with it, okay? So, last episode related to the Q&A session. If you haven't listened to it, go check it out. I ended with talking about the 5-factor. I ended talking about the Beach and the Sandbox. I ended it talking about the DSM-4, drapetomania. So if you don't know these terms, go back to previous episode. I ain't got a lot of time to sit up here and rewind, because you can go right back and go listen. So I'm just going to go with the flow. So today I'm talking about my lived experience. You can do whatever you want to do it. It's my truth. You can feel how you want to feel. But one thing I know for sure, you can't change facts. You don't have to like them, but you cannot change them. So here's the first fact that's going to kick this thing off. As I've mentioned, previous episode, 5-factor. The 5-factor is the ability that somebody can have that they can literally get away with murder. The 5-factor typically happens for men, a specific kind of man, white male, who's cisgender, heterosexual, meaning he's only with a woman, more likely married to a woman. That's 3. His pedigree is he went to an Ivy League, went to a very, exclusive school. You may not have even heard of it. Don't even know how to get in. Don't even know where it's at. That's the pedigree. Number 5 is wealth, connection, privilege. Like, I have access to all of that. If you have those 5, there's not much you cannot do. The only person that came close to it was OJ. You see what happened to him. So this beach and sandbox analogy, I want to connect the two. That's the person. That's a person who's able to do certain things, especially in this profession. That's why I'm going to talk about it. The next is the beach and the sandbox. This world is vast. It's huge. It's wide open. It's a beach. And there are some beaches within our country, within our nation, within our world that's been uninhabited by human beings. There are places and spaces that we can't get to even if we wanted to. It's just not designed that way. However, the places and spaces that we do go that are above our pay grade, some people feel as though this is too much for everybody. Let me start putting some borders and some parameters around this greatness of this beach, which is this life that we have. It's a beach. And however you choose to live on your beach or the beach is how you are authentically. To me, the most authentic we can be is at on the beach because typically you ain't finna be there fully dressed. So you got to be okay with whatever you bring into the table or the beach. You got to be okay with it. Feet, you got to be okay with them. Some folks, I got socks on over here. You know what I mean? Thong sandals with the socks. You got to be okay with it. My legs, my arms, my body, I got to be okay with it to be on the beach. And if I'm not okay with it, I'm going to cover some things up. And that's fine. That's cool. But imagine being able to be on the beach and just be your authentic self and not worried about what other people think or say or do or believe. That's where I'm at in my life. And I want you to be there too. And I want to help you get there because that's my job to help you get there. And I'm talking to you specifically. Yes, indeed. Say amen. Amen. This is call and response too. So anytime you hear me say whose house, you repeat my house. Whose house? Whose house? Whose house? If you didn't say anything, this lets you know about yourself. You ain't ready yet, and that's okay. Keep listening. If you did say something, think about the tone, the vocal volume. It's my house, my house, my house, my house. I need you to own it. Stop paying rent and own when it comes to your house. Because to me, that's everything that we do. Three parallels: attic, living room, basement. Again, this is a review. Go back to previous episode. I ain't got time today. We moving. So I want to talk about the biggest sandbox in this profession, which is our ethical codes and standards and how we do business. Okay. So as a helping professional, I want to give you some things that are true, that are facts, that are feelings, and you can do whatever you choose to do with them. So let's start from the top. Currently, I'm a licensed professional counselor, over 20 years in profession. I'm a black male therapist with a therapist. I'm so unique, but I'm black. So I'm like a unicorn, but I'm black with a gold horn. And I'm in therapy now because I just got diagnosed last year being neurodivergent, meaning I have adult ADHD. Start trying medication management. I'm out here, y'all, in these streets figuring life out. I can't just talk about this stuff with you and not doing it myself. Big shout out to my therapist, Dr. Ho. What up, Ho? Can't wait to have you on the show. It's going to happen because I'm telling y'all, it's going to happen. You know what else is going to happen? I feel moved that this TED Talk is coming soon. Spicy J in the building. The TED Talk is coming soon. And when it comes, when I get that email, when I get that message, when I get that notice, when I get whatever they send me, I'm going to tell y'all because I told you what was going to happen last year. I feel movement around it now. Back to the point. Who I am, my credentials. Yes, I am. I'm dripped. I'm dripped up. Okay, the best to ever do it on paper and off. Regardless of that, I'm licensed in multiple states: Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, formerly Alabama. I live in California, been here about 4 years. I'm not licensed in California. What? Dr. Branch, why are you not licensed in California? I'm glad you asked. Because in order for me to get licensed in California, although I'm licensed in other states, and although I've been licensed since 2012, you do the math, I'm required to take a law and ethics exam in the state of California. Okay, cool. Law and ethics exam, knock it out. Got to learn the law, ethics, whatever. So me deciding, not the best test taker, which I never knew. I just knew any standardized test that this profession has offered me, I usually fail the first one. Just part of it. I can't think of one test that I've taken in this profession where I took it the first time and passed it. I learned later, part of that is my neurospiciness. I didn't know. I learned recently. How recent? When I took the law and ethics exam and I did not complete the test. It wasn't that I failed. By the time the test time was over with, I still had about 30 questions left because I don't read as fast as everybody else. I don't understand concepts as quick as everybody else. I may have to reread things a few times in order to have an understanding of what this is. So I was a lot slower with this. And by the time the end of the test, it was like, yeah, you didn't get a passing score because you had so many questions missing. So it caused a lot of frustration for me. It caused a lot of stress and anger and frustration. Like, yo, I didn't fail. I need more time. Not recognizing because I wasn't diagnosed. I wasn't aware of my own uh, ability because I wouldn't call it a disability at all. It's an ability. And it's an ability to think outside of the sandbox. Ooh, we going to work. Hey, get your collection plates. Guess what, y'all? We got a cash app. Hit the cash app. Bing. You're going to hear something soon. Maestro. Thank you. Maestro, one of the greatest to ever do it. So now we have a sound effect to go with this cash app. Okay. So every time you hear that sound effect, know that collection plate. At any point in time, any breadcrumb hit you in the head, any honey bun hit you in the head, feel free to donate to the cause because whatever you put into this podcast, I'm going to put back into this podcast. It ain't for me. What I do for free. I just want to continue to make this podcast the best experience you can possibly have because I expect this is the greatest podcast. I'm the greatest podcaster who've ever lived. Why? Because I said so. And if you got a problem with it, come put your finger to my nose. Mm-hmm. Back to where we were. So this experience that I had, I was distraught. I was pissed off. I'm throwing study guides away. I'm losing. Imagine going home, throwing all your study guides away, pulling down ACA posters off your wall. Oh, I don't want to be a therapist anymore. Oh my God, it's the worst. I mean, I lost it because I didn't know how much fairness meant to me as a person who's neurospicy. So I felt as though it wasn't fair. There's no waiver. There's no nothing. Like, and even if you don't know the law, can you memorize it? Beach and Sandbox. Because I learned it's not about the test. The test, any of these tests, the CPCE, the NCE, law and ethics, whatever test that was made up, somebody made up. And that somebody originated from the five factor. I just want to talk about it. So, in me being upset about this, I decided, you know what? I ain't taking that test. F that test. I'm licensed in other places. I'm going to keep doing my thug thizzle. That's my past self. My future self was like, hey, man, you know the game. And the game is something I was taught from my mentor. Big shout out to Linwood Vereen, Dr. Linwood Vereen. Dr. Linwood Vereen told me something when I was in my doc program, and I didn't understand. I knew it. I mean, it felt good, but I didn't truly understand it till now. And what I understand now is the beach and the sandbox. Law and ethics exam is the sandbox. The state of California is a beach, literally. Literally. Unless you're in the IE, Inland Empire. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. It's a beach. And sometimes you have to go through the sandbox to play on the beach. And I can connect that to what Dr. Vereen said because he said sometimes you got to go through the bullshit to get to the good shit. And he was spot on. So now, 4 years later, I'm in this place. Man, you got to go through this bullshit to get licensed in California. Figure out how to pass this test, do whatever study guides, do whatever training you got to do to get this test done so you can move on with your life. Because here's an example of the contradiction. Although there's a plethora of clients, especially clients from marginalized communities in the state of California, I currently don't have access to them. They don't have access to me. Why? Because of the sandbox. In addition to that, I didn't even know that I could get accommodations because I didn't know I needed them. I wasn't looking for no accommodation. I didn't know I needed them. I'm going to go in there, pass the test, and move on with my life. That wasn't the case because the system wasn't designed for that. The system is designed for you to learn how to take a test, not for you to acquire certain knowledge. Don't believe me? Ask a recent graduate. Ask somebody who just took CPCE, NCE. Ask them. They'll tell you it's garbage, garbaggio. Now, I'm not disrespecting the profession. I'm not disrespecting what you have to do to go through. I'm disrespecting some of the things that you have to go through that don't make no sense. That's my issue. And what doesn't make sense is why am I going to take a test that has nothing to do with what I do in this profession? Many of the questions has nothing to do with nothing. Or may not have to do nothing with nothing current. And my biggest struggle, no shade, no disrespect, Howard Rosenthal, this Purple Rosenthal book. If you know, you know. If you don't, go get you a master's or a PhD. You'll find out. This book was the bane of my existence for a long time. Again, I'm talking about my old self. I was upset with this guy. How is Harold Rosenthal? Why everybody keep telling me to take his test and practice his skill? Why everybody sending me to this guy who I don't know? I ain't never seen. I just see this purple book. And this purple book has been in existence in our profession and been used for students for many years. And it's not foolproof, meaning you can study and do all this stuff and still fail. How do I know? I did it. Again, I told you I took tests several times, failed several times. So this test, this book, Howard Rosenthal Encyclopedia of Counseling, is a book that's designed to teach you how to take the test. Phenomenal. And I tried the book the first time, failed. Second time I did CDs. I'm doing all these test prep. I think I may have passed second time or third. The point is I passed it eventually. And I couldn't tell you anything that was on these tests. And more often than not, you don't know anything about this because all you see is the person, which is me. You don't know what I went through to get it. That's what I'm talking about on the show because many of us are going through it right now. Some of us are in the middle of it right now. Some of us are procrastinating by listening to the show instead of studying. Yes, I'm talking about you. And I appreciate you. But get back to studying when you finish this episode, okay? So you can pass, so you can go on this show and talk about it. So this is just the beginning of the bane of my existence related to this profession because of the contradiction. That's currently in 2026. Now let's go back to 2018. 2018, when I first got my PhD, I've been licensed since 2012, and I'm in New Jersey, and I'm trying to get licensed in New York because there's a lot of marginalized people in New York that need me that I can't offer services to. Why? Even though it's 20 minutes away, I'm not licensed in New York. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me talk to New York. Let me see who if I can talk to the powers that be. Because right at that time, I was licensed in 4 different states. I go to New York. Hey, do y'all got a waiver? Y'all got something I can get grandfathered in? They was like, nope, we got a test you can take though. And I'm like, yo, why am I? What? I've taken the test. I've already proven I'm great. What are we doing here? We're lining the pockets of somebody who is behind the test. Because it's not about your knowledge, it's not about your value, it's about someone getting paid for what they created, which I respect and disrespect at the same time, because it's helpful and hurtful. And to me, it's more hurtful than not. Because for some people, especially new clinicians who never had a great professor, I might add, they find value in their ability to do well on tests or do well in class. And that's a disservice because how well you do in class or on a test may or may not be comparable to what you do in this profession. What do you mean by that, Dr. Branch? I'm glad you asked. I failed the hell out of that law and ethics exam because I had 30 questions I didn't even answer yet. That can make me feel some kind of way if I was living in this sandbox world, but I don't. I live in the beach world, and test taking is not a skill set of mine. Helping people heal and recover and work through their trauma, drama, things between them and their hey mama, I'm great at that. Taking a test on it? Oh shit. Why you think I ain't licensed yet? However, I decided I decided because I'm encouraged and I'm motivated by my students or by these students at Gator University and beyond who are in the middle of the same thing I am in a different way of I need to pass these tests because I'm ready to get my life going. And for me, it's like, yeah, I don't have to. So a lot of ego and pride came in. But the reality is, how can I set a better example by going through the BS to get to the GS to show you that it's possible? And you just got to get through it. Because once you pass it, you never have to deal with that again unless you allow your license to lapse. This is just the first part, y'all. Because I look at us, I look at the world as, humans, we could be very black and white. It's either one way or the other. Either I'm drinking coffee or tea. I'm sorry, either I'm drinking coffee or water. That's it, black and white. And to me, this profession, who we are, we're not black and white. But I believed it for so long. Let me explain. So the racket, it feels like a mob, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to these tests and assessments for licensure and how much time I got to put in, how many hours I got to put in. I respect a lot of it, but other parts I don't. Okay. I'm just being honest. Like I said, it's no longer love, hate, is love and a heavy dislike. So the other dislike relates to the contradiction of who we are, what we do in this profession, and the contradiction that speaks to value. Because to me, every clinician, every helping professional adds value to the profession. Because every clinician, every professional is somebody that we don't have. That's value. So if I'm a black man, I'm a black woman, Latino man, woman, industrial, um, man, I can't. I'm losing my words today. Y'all work with me. Indigenous person, um, LGBTQIA. Big shout out. Whoever I am, I diversify the profession. Even if I'm a white man, white woman, because I'm not the white man or white woman that was born back in the 1800s. I'm one born in the 19s or the 20s. Those are different types of people because those different types of people have different types of lived experiences. What type of lived experiences? We're going to be just like our parents, the complete opposite, or somewhere in the middle. So therefore, if my mom and dad and them racist, I may not be racist because of them. Mom and daddy alcoholics, not me, not I said the cat, or vice versa. Either way it go, you slice it up the way you want. There are some horrible people in this profession because the profession sometimes can be horrible. There's three types of people in this profession. You got horrible ones. We ain't got to talk about them because everybody talking about them. You got good ones who just do just enough, and you got great ones who go above and beyond by looking within themselves to be the best they can be so they can help somebody else. Those are the three you're going to run across in this profession in all shape, forms, fashions, and walks of life. From a student perspective, from a client perspective, from a faculty perspective, from an administrative perspective, I don't care where you are in your career when it comes to this helping profession, you're going to run into those three people. It's inevitable. Why? Because some people in this profession haven't dealt with their own stuff, although they're here, haven't dealt with it. And I find a way to make really complex things simple. And how I simplify complex things, big shout out to my neurodivergence. What up, Spicy J? What up, dog? That ability I have allows me to see things differently. And how I see things differently is this contradiction of who we are and who we say we are. Those are two different things. So any graduate student, any doctoral student, they have stories of how someone helped and how someone hurt. Because any helping professional, especially a high performing, high achieving helping professional, there are two reasons that they chose to be in this profession. Somebody helped them or they did not. That's why you're here. Heard it here first, in case you didn't know. So let's dive in. People who haven't dealt with their stuff, who's in a position to help others, sometimes hurt others. I have been hurt several times by several people throughout this profession, and I didn't allow that pain to cause more pain for other people. I allowed that pain and healing and therapy and experience for me to help other people and prevent them from being victims of other folks' BS. Again, man, I just need y'all to know I'm an example and I'm okay with it. I will be the example because I need us to do different. I need us to do better. And this is the reason I teach the way I teach, this is the way I do therapy. The way I do therapy is the reason I have evolved into the coaching space. I'm an executive performance coach in addition to having these years of therapy. So I do both. You need a therapist? Got you. Alabama, can't help you anymore in Alabama as a therapist, but I can help you as a coach. Therapists or coach in any other state. Therapists in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Georgia. Coach, I don't care where you at. I can help. So I'm integrating these worlds because I'm moving out of this sandbox. And to me, going into this coaching lane is the beach that I belong on. But I'm coming in with 20 plus years of experience in this profession, which to me sets me apart from anybody else. So let's dive deeper. I mentioned black and white thinking, coffee and water. Understand if I'm stuck on black and white thinking, I'm going to be stuck throughout my life. The black and white thinking is I'm either good, bad, it's right, wrong, best, horrible, I'm the shit, or I'm shit, one or the other. And to me, there's a lot of life in between black and white. If you think about it, the last time I checked, there's a minimum of 50 Shades of Gray. You done watched the movie, read the book. Okay. So therefore, I got actually 52 options. But if you think further of the color scheme, color spectrum, how many options do I actually have? Endless. Endless. However, we're taught and told black and white, especially in this profession. Very black and white. And I want to share, which is why the contradiction is there. This profession can be taught very black and white, meaning this is what Freud did, this is what Gestalt, this is what all these theorists did, this is how you have to do it. But we only get one side of what these theorists are and what they did. And the things that we hear about the theorists are the great things that they did, where they from, what they did, what they mom and them did, and how they helped us in the profession and what their theory is. That's one side of the coin. For example, Sigmund Freud. All right, buckle up, Buttercup. Sigmund Freud is where we're going to start. I want you to see the contradiction. So, one side is what I was taught and what we're taught from Psychology 101 all the way to a doctoral program. Sigmund Freud was an Austrian neurologist, best known as the founder of psychoanalysis and one of the most influential uh, and controversial theories in psychology and mental health history, meaning psychoanalytic theory is one of those theories that stands the test of time. It's still here. It ain't going nowhere. We still talk about it. We still study it. Still, people still love Freud because of one side. Now, I don't know any human being that only has one side. We got several. So one side that we learned about Freud, born in 1856, and part of the Austrian Empire, now in the Czech Republic. Like that's where he was born and raised. Raised mainly in Vienna, spent most of his professional life there. Um, Trained, studied the brain, the nervous system, became so interested in dreams and trauma and unconscious and processing and ego and super ego. I mean, you name it. We still study that to 2026. The other side of the coin in that is on record, Freud has never worked with a person of color. Yeah, this psychologist has never provided service for a client of color, meaning he ain't never worked with nobody that look like me or anything close to me. Melanin, you got it? He ain't got you. No shade, no disrespect. I just want to talk about it. Do you know what else happened? Freud only spent maybe a total about a week in the U.S. When he did come to the U.S., it was to do lectures at Clark University, not Clark Atlanta, different Clark. So Clark University came to speak about his theory, and this is how the U.S. got hip and was like, yo, this is the way out. This is the move. So we've been teaching this ever since, not recognizing that there's a lot of flaws here because human beings are flawed. But we don't teach about the flaws because of who's teaching. And guess who's teaching? Phi Fecta and descendants of the Pi Fecta, which is why a lot of programs, counselor ed programs, psychology programs, clinical psych programs, there's not a lot of people of color in them. You may have a few speckles here and there, but it's not a lot. I'll speak specifically for black folks. It's few far in between when it comes to the helping profession and black folks specifically here. Why? There's a reason. We talking about 1856, 1800s. You know what was going on with black folks in the 1800s. This ain't that show. We ain't got to spend a lot of time there. This actually is that show. This is not the episode. Don't get me wrong. We talk about slavery because to me, everything goes back to slavery. That's me. There's nothing that you can tell me that does not relate to slavery in some kind of way, shape, form, fashion. Don't believe me? Hop in the comments. Text me 404-436-2540. Whatever it is that you got that you feel as though does not connect to slavery, give it to me. I'll make a whole podcast out of it, episode, and I will show you how. Anything you say to me will go back to slavery. He said, well, Chick-fil-A, slavery. McDonald's, slavery. I don't care what it is. Slavery. Academia, slavery. Mental health, slavery. Because the last episode that I mentioned, part 2, the first mental health diagnosis was drapetomania, slavery. We're done here, okay? Moving on. That's professional on Freud. Personal, Freud enjoyed Coke. And I ain't talking about the real thing in the red can. I'm talking about the real thing in the white lines. Freud loved Coke. He was a cokehead. No shade, no disrespect. We wouldn't say it in the 1800s. But in 2026, we was. He was a cokehead. And he was a cokehead because he was a Freud. He could afford it. Now, if he wasn't Freud, he would be a crackhead. Nobody wants to talk about it. The reason you can maintain a coke habit, you got income. Most folks may start with a coke habit. You only end with one unless you got bread like that, unless you're part of the Phi Factor. Cokeheads become crackheads when the money run out. I just want to talk about it. Or if you think about crackheads in the hood, we ain't never had the money. Therefore, let me get some of that crack, bruh. I don't even know what Coke is. Freud loved Coke, okay? This was when it was legal at the time. It was a thing. He didn't know how dangerous it was or whatever. It didn't matter. I'm in love with the Coke. It didn't matter. He loved it so much he gave it to his clients. I'm telling you what I know, not what I heard. You can trust me, believe me, and you can look it up for yourself. Do both. So he would give it to his clients. He would give it to friends and family. Like Coke was his thing. He had unlimited supply. He loved Coke so much that one of his homeboys, and I'm not gonna butcher his homeboy name because I want to be at least respectful out here. But he had a homeboy that was in the profession as well, Ernst von, and I won't ruin the name, but it's we call him Ernst, right? So Ernst was a colleague. He was a psychologist, and he became addicted to morphine from the work that he was doing in the profession. And then he had injuries, had some chronic pain. He get diagnosed with the chronic pain to using morphine. He get addicted to morphine. Freud come in like, yo, man, get off that morphine. Try this. He gave him some coke. The rest was history. History meaning the man died of an overdose. So he traded one addiction for the next, and that addiction killed him. No one talks about that. Freud introduced him to it. Again, I'm not saying that Freud just murdered a dude, but he did by accident. He didn't know. So that shook Freud so much so that he eventually stopped doing coke because his friend died unintentionally and he exposed him to it. That's a human thing, y'all. And I can't recall any class I've ever had in the 30, 40 plus years of education I had in this profession where anybody talked about it. However, the facts, the evidence is out there, but who cares about facts when you're in your feelings? Next piece. That's Freud. That's outer. Let's go inner. I was taught and told, just like many clinicians, go to therapy, experience therapy for yourself. Okay, cool. Got it. Did it. Y'all know the story. Go back to previous episodes. I was also told two big cardinal rules in this profession. And I was taught this from when I first got in the profession in 2025. Okay. 2007. I'm sorry. I was told this when I first got in the profession in 2005. I really started to learn more in 2007. That's when I started the master's program. So, the master's program, I was taught the same two things that many of you were taught, which is number one, do no harm. Whatever you do not harm the client, period, point blank. The second thing is never have sex with your client. Never. Those are two important things. And I took those things and made it black and white. Because my professor at the time, big shout out Dr. Tyson. What up, Doc? Dr. Tyson said, once a client, always a client. And that stuck with me. So therefore, I don't care how fine you are. I don't care how beautiful. I don't care what's what. You call me for a consultation, you are off the market for me. Ain't nothing I can do for you. Nothing besides give you this therapy. I can't give you nothing else but this therapy. You finna get it. But anyone else on these streets, it's whatever. But when it comes to the client, I'm very black and white about that. And I was adamant about it. Never. And, I was so perfectionistic about it. I was so such as overthinking about it, like I didn't want to mess up or anything like that. So for many of you who dealing with that same stuff, I want to give you a little pressure to take off. And some of that pressure to take off relates to ethics. So there's a new bar. There's a new standard. The new bar, new standard, do no harm, don't have sex with your client, is don't give your client coke. It don't get no worse than that. It don't get no worse than that. As long as I ain't giving my client coke, I'm doing well. These are facts. Because our clients are human. They're resilient. How do I know? Because at any point in time, we can be on either side of the couch. Just want to talk about facts. We all got problems. We all got shit in our basement. There's nothing wrong with having stuff in your basement. We all got it. The issue is when I take the stuff out of my basement and I give it to you, especially when you ain't asked for it, you don't deserve it, and it's mine. I don't know what to do with it, so I'm going to give it to you. That's why people are in therapy for those who don't go to therapy. And if that's you, yes, we're talking about you. You got advice and opinion and suggestions for everybody and their mama but you. Yo ass. First name yo, last name ass. Okay, Spicy J has left the building. And he said, ain't no podcast if he ain't on it. With that said, if you know some podcasts, you know I need to be on there, let's make it happen. I'm not playing. I'm at least asking because I don't care no more. Say what you want. You're going to do it anyway. Back to the story. So Dr. Tyson gave me that and I kept it for 20 plus years. And it wasn't until I was in California. This was 4 years ago. I'm in California, minding my business. I'm teaching at a new institution. And in this new institution, I'm teaching, I'm learning, I'm updating all my stuff, my syllabus, and I'm checking out the ethics documentation. I'm looking at, I'm making sure everything is up to date, up to par. K-CREP standards, if you know, you know. And when I start diving into these ethical standards, I see things that I wasn't prepared for. Before I share what I saw, we're going to take a sidebar. This sidebar connects to you as a clinician, helping professional, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. This is the standard that I use when it comes to ethics. Again, the bar now is very low. Don't give them coke. The second thing is any decision that you make, can you validate it? If you can validate it, you good. If you can't, it may not be the best move. So the best way I share that with my students, colleagues, supervisees is whatever decision you make, can you validate it? Meaning, if whatever decision you made was on the front page of the New York Times, could you stand behind it? Meaning, put it on press, put it in the LA Times, New York Times, I don't care, put it out there. Extra, read all about it. That means I can validate the reason why I did whatever it is that I did. But if you can't validate it and you're not okay with it being on the front page of the New York Times, probably not the best move to make. So to me, do no harm. Anything that I do that's not a harm to my client, front page. Never had sex with your client, front page, right? But if you did cause harm to your client, if you did have sex with your client, that's not what you want on the front page of the New York Times. I hope this makes sense. Back to where we were. We're on the main road again. For those who spicy, thank y'all. For those who are not, welcome. We're gonna leave, but we coming back. We coming back. So what we're coming back to is the reality 4 years ago when I'm going through the ethical standards, and this is ACA. So the American Council Association, we have these are our ethical standards, ethical guidelines, ethical codes. This is how we do the work that we do. This is why we do the work that we do, because sometimes people just be on the beach and they ain't got no rules, no laws, and they be doing the worst at the beach. You know, folks at the beach that be doing coke. It may be you. Everything don't need to be done at the beach in front of everybody because there's kids out here. So therefore, we have to understand there's rules of how we can abide, but the reality is there is no one watching us but us. And depends on who your friends are, would anybody share anything with you? So I hope y'all ready. We're finna talk about it. So ACA Code of Ethics started in 1963. So from the 1800s to 1963, you can do whatever. 63 now. 1963. You know how much coke was given out between that time? You know how much weed and alcohol and sex with your client? Do you know how much stuff was going down in this profession until 1963? And even when 63 came, that doesn't mean people stopped hurting clients. Because in this profession, if you know, I've been in the profession so long that we currently have a DSM-5. I was here when there was a DSM-3. That's how old I am. And every time we go to a different edition, the profession struggled. They would give everybody about 2 to 3 years, maybe even up to 5, to adapt, to adjust, to upgrade into the next version. And some people, again, black and white thinking, I get stuck. I'm still trying to do 3, even though we at 4. And you will have to do 4 if you're trying to bill insurance. There's some people still using DSM-3, DSM-4 to this day. Why? Because they ain't building no insurance. Why? Because you can. Still making a diagnosis based off of what's comfortable. But this profession requires you to become comfortable being uncomfortable on either side of the couch. 1963 is when it first started. Now, as I'm reading, I see something that was established that I found out later was established in 2005. So no sex with your client is not even really like written in there. That's just what's said, but what's written is no romantic relationship with your client. However, 4 years ago, I'm reading the ACA Code of Standards, and it says, if you just happen that you just cannot help yourself and you want to have a romantic relationship with your client, meaning if you want to have sex with your client, you have to wait 5 years post termination. And man, it broke my heart. That statement broke my heart because it doesn't make sense. There is no reason whatsoever on God's green earth to be intimate with a client in a therapeutic setting. This person then divulged their truth, their stuff, their basement, their liver. You know everything about this person. You ain't gave them a quarter of what they gave you. And to me, having sex with a client is taking advantage of them. I don't care how you slice it up. I don't care the attraction. That's just me. I'm black and white about it. I don't care how you slice it up. However, the same profession that said don't do this now saying you can do this, but there's a stipulation. What does that mean? Somebody put a a sandbox over the beach. The beach is we're human. We can screw. We can have sex. We can do whatever we want to do. But somebody decided to put this sandbox around it. And the sandbox to me was related to this 5 year probation. You got 5 years before you can have sex with your client. That makes no sense to me, but make all the sense in the world based off of the trifecta and how this profession can be a contradiction. This is what started peeling back layers for me when I just lost my everything because I recognized how human we truly are. So this code, I just want you to think about my perspective, and I want to give you my perspective because once I saw this, number one, I went through all the emotions, then I went through the logic. The logic is this had to be done by someone with the trifecta because this new adoption came in 2005. The year I graduated with my bachelor's, this clause came out. And this clause, because this is my assumption. I do not know. If you know the facts, you let me know. I don't know the facts for sure, but I know what my gut, I know what evidence, I know what behaviors, I know what history says. And I'm pretty sure it was a man who came up with this quote, who came up with this thing. Because I can't see a woman saying, ooh, I can't wait till Bob when I terminate with Bob, I'm gonna give Bob about 5 years. And then I got to have him. I can't see a woman doing that. But I can see a man saying, oh man, Brittany, 5, 6 years, it's going down. Should be over 18 then too. Just want to talk about it. I can't wait 5, 6 years. I'll wait it out. I'll keep it in my back pocket. I can't see a woman doing that, but I can see several men doing that. And several of these men, in my opinion, are probably connected to the board that decided, let's put this clause in there. Again, the contradiction. That's the dislike that I have. That's hurtful. That's harmful. Because I can't imagine being a client and not knowing and being taken advantage of, especially if I don't know nothing about therapy. And it's like, man, I get great therapists and I get great sets from my therapist. What the hell? It's a real thing, y'all. Because if you're having sex with your client, if you're with your therapist, please know that's not okay. If you want to have sex with your client, please know that's human. Having sex with your client is unethical as hell. However, after 5 years, you're good, boo-boo. Based off of the standards. I just want to talk about the contradiction of our profession. That changed everything for me. Because if you think about, especially being a person of color in this profession and helping clients, if I'm black and white about it, there's certain clients that I'm connected with who happen to be in the same fraternity as me, same sorority as you, same industry. Y'all go to the same church, same events, same activities. There's a lot of boundary bleeding happening. And you're taught to be a robot and know the dress, don't talk, act weird. And it's stupid because at the same time, you're saying 5 years after the fact, you can screw them. Literally, no pun intended. And man, it hurts even still talking about it now, but I want to expose because it's not exposed. And the struggle in this profession is due to the struggles within our own self. Because that guy or those guys that say, yeah, let's do this 5 year clause, that's some shit going on with them. Has nothing to do with the client, has everything to do with what they want. And how many people you know finna wait 5 years to get some? I'll wait. Even in jail, they finna get something. Finna get out of here with something. I'll be straight when I get out of here, but in here, I'm finna get something. Why? Because it's human. So this shifted and shook things for me. And since then, I've been seeing even more, and I am in awe. I can't believe the humanness in this robotic viewed profession. It's taught that way. The reality is it's not that way. You know, don't hug your clients, don't give them tissue. All these stupid rules that somebody made up that does not look like you. I just want to talk about it. So I share this so you can be aware, so you can know. And there's no reason whatsoever in my mind to be intimate with one of your clients on either side. Even as a client, if you didn't know, now you know. So these contradictions within this profession is what is not highlighted, which to be the more you know, the more you get to do. Because on any coin, there's two sides. Any slice of bread, there are two sides. Any cassette tape, there's two sides. Side B is the best for those who don't know. In this profession, you're only taught one side. I want to expose you all to the other side. And this exposure to the other side to me is what I'm building in real time behind the scenes. I've been decolonizing academic institutions my entire career because decolonization, number one, is me being there because majority of the universities that I work for, I was usually the only one. It was just me, majority. Even where I am now, I'm the highest ranking professor at Alliant University and the only black male, period. Where I was before, and this is a private, for-profit institution, where I was before, private institution, me and David Ford, big shout out David Ford, what up, bro? And we made history by being the first two black men hired at the same time. Before that, Youngstown State, just me. Auburn University, just me. Yorkville, just me. Seattle Pacific University, just me. Troy University, just me. University of Alabama, just me. University of Alabama Birmingham, just me. Cal State Fullerton, just me. Alliant International University, just me. San Diego State University, just me. University of San Diego, just me. I just want to talk about facts. It's usually just me or just one. You think that's coincidental? Absolutely not. So behind the scenes, I'm building something. What I'm building is an entire institution, Gator University, where there are no limits, just legacy. I'm bringing, creating, building a community, a collective, a culture of people who are high achieving health professionals who've decided, I want to live in the gray. This black and white overthinking perfectionism does not work anymore. I'm ready to do something I've never done. This is what we do at Gator U. I know Gator U works because I have proof, social proof. I don't just wear the t-shirt, I am him. I don't just wear the hat, I am him. I actually am him because I never saw myself in this way. And all these truths and all these things that's inside of me, I kept suppressed because of the things in my basement. However, the work that I've done on my basement, what up, ho? Helped me be present in the living room where I can share these truths with you and you can do whatever you choose to do with it. This experience is healing for me. You get the benefits. So if you're interested in joining this movement, because in June, starting next month, we are on this wave of bringing people in so you can win, because anybody connected to Gator University, whether directly or indirectly, will win. When you begin living life differently, we're not talking about the black and white thinking. It's the new thinking of being okay in the gray. And the gray is either I win or I learn. And if I'm winning and learning, I never lose. I haven't lost in a long time. I don't expect to lose no time soon. So as we close out May, I hope this mental health awareness month has been valuable for you. I hope these episodes, I'm sorry, I don't hope. Hope only got Obama in office. I expect these episodes did something for you. I expect that someone, at least one person, actually considered going to therapy for the first time their whole lives based off the information and the people that shared on this podcast. If that's you, please let it be known. This podcast changed my life because it made me consider therapy for the first time. This podcast changed my life because such and such said this, or this person said that, or Dr. Branch did this or that. Whatever, any way that this podcast has done anything for you, share it. Share it. Like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you need to do to get this word out there. I'm doing healing work for myself, and I decided to put it on the air. You can do whatever you choose. I love you. I appreciate you. I respect you. I value you. I need you to play a different game because it's all a game. In graduate school, doctoral programs, it's Monopoly Junior. On the other side is real life Monopoly. It is a game, and you have to learn how to play it. And to me, playing the game is sometimes I have to play in the sandbox in order to hang out on the beach. Some people never leave the sandbox. Some people never leave the beach. To me, you have to have both, or there wouldn't be capitalism, racism, and everything else in between. You got to do both, because I don't know any way that I could be this person that I am without going through the sandbox. The sandbox is every graduate program I've ever taught at, been a student at. It's a game. And if you're paying attention, you will see how the game is played. That is it. That is all. This has been another episode of 3 PLL's podcast with your host, the Brother Dr. Jason Branch, where we rediscover who we were, embrace who we are, make room for who we're trying to become. If that is you, you're in the right place at the right at the right time. If you're looking for a therapist, I am him. If you're looking for a coach, I am him. If you're looking for yourself, you are him, her, or them. All caps, no blue hat. Peace.